Hello and welcome to the series where every month we talk about a different Taylor Swift album. This month is June and we're talking about Reputation, which is the sixth album that she has made. It's over 30 degrees where I am and I'm struggling, but we're going to get through this. So a little bit of context for Reputation. As we remember last time when we left off, we had 1989 and Taylor Swift's Imperial era. She was truly on top of the world and it seemed at the time like nothing could stop her trajectory. But as we all know, something did happen. I think at the time she was truly everywhere and people maybe had enough of her, and that all contributed to the fact that she got cancelled. She fell off. She basically was run off of the internet after a drama that we don't need to get into, but basically she got cancelled for lying allegedly, but it has since been proven that she didn't lie. It was all kind of fabricated. She had to disappear. She had to go away for some time, even though at one point she was everywhere. Now all of a sudden she was gone. She missed her usual window for when she would usually release an album, which would be every 2 years in autumn. So she would have typically released an album in November of 2016 and she didn't because she was basically missing to the world. And then in 2017 she came back with Reputation, and I think we can hang up our hats and we can just go home because this is the best album. So in this series I deep dive into every one of these albums, and then at the end we also rank all of the songs, and then we give the album a rating based on what I rated each of the songs, and the ranking I will implore you to remember is very subjective. But we can go ahead and get into the album itself. As I have mentioned, it came out on November 10th, 2007. I didn't mention that. As I have mentioned, it came out in 2017. It was a big comeback. It came out on November 10th. It's one of her shorter records because it doesn't have any add-on tracks. It's just the however many that the original edition has. So it's just over 55 minutes. And it had a bunch of singles, most iconically Look What You Made Me Do, which was her big comeback moment, and then also Ready for It, Endgame, New Year's Day apparently, and Delicate and Getaway Car. The cover itself represents the stuff that she went through because she looks way more stern than usual. She looks way more serious and maybe even a little bit villainous. Half of her is depicted covered in newspaper headings, and that represents the way that the media turned against her and how scrutinized she was for basically half of her life, but especially during her cancellation era. I think it's interesting how if we cover half of her face, she looks like a completely different person, like as if she has very short hair, and her cheekbones are very pronounced. She's also wearing what looks like a chain around her neck. The whole cover is also in black and white, and it's mostly white, which is interesting because this is considered to be an era represented by the color black. We had 4 music videos for Reputation. We had Look What You Made Me Do, Ready for It, Endgame, and Delicate. I really don't know why I include segments about fashion because I am not equipped to talk about fashion, so I decided to just highlight the one-piece bodysuit that she wore on the Eras Tour. But all you have to know about the fashion is that her hair is long and kind of curly a little bit, but not necessarily. So I don't know why I said that. She is wearing a lot of darker colors, a lot of sparkly stuff, and if you want to dress up as Reputation the album, you're probably going to wear black and stuff with snakes and stuff. Now let's talk about the aesthetic. So every Taylor Swift album has specific aesthetics that we all associate with it, and I have collected them off of Pinterest, and we're going to dive into what we think they are. So first of all, we have all kinds of dark lipstick. Of course, we have snakes, which are absolutely everywhere during this era. We have all kinds of glitz and glam. And then newspapers, cities, but specifically cities at night. as opposed to the previous era where it was cities during the day. We have a black car, and this is yet another comeback of the car, making it into both either the aesthetics or the themes of the album. She loves her cars. We also have shattered glass and jewels, and also fireworks like in the Speak Now era, except now it's more glamorous than like pretty. And now to my favorite segment of the video, which is where we talk about the frequent motifs in the album. These are just certain things that show up in the lyrics at least twice or 3 times, which I think are notable to mention. So first of all, we have games. These are the lyrics, and there's so many iconic ones here, like the one from Ready for It, but also the one from Don't Blame Me, and of course the one from Look What You Made Me Do. I like them all. Then we have the night, so it's not just in the aesthetics, it's also in here, and so many lyrics. I really like Long Night with Your Hands in My Hair. We also have alcohol. For the first time, alcohol is prominent enough to make it onto this list, which, as we probably remember, she used to have this very good girl image, and on this album, mentioning alcohol is kind of breaking out of that. I love Whiskey on Ice, Sunset and Vine. You've ruined my life by not being mine. Then we have touch. She mentions touch a couple of times, and she doesn't say every time we touch I get this feeling. That's not a lyric from this album, unfortunately. Or the one to the girls back home, touch you like I do. Then we have weapons. There's a bunch of ones, like You Said the Gun Was Mine in Look What You Made Me Do. Or we never had a shotgun shot in the dark. Absolutely iconic. Or It Hit You Like a Shotgun Shot to the Heart. Then we have fire, so more like destructive, scary themes. I Struck a Match and Blew Your Mind. Or Light Me Up. Then we have hearts once again. They show up here. Just a couple of examples here. I love There Were Sirens in the Beat of Your Heart. It's a very good song, Getaway Car. There's obviously a whole song called King of My Heart. The color gold makes some appearances. I have found 4 appearances. We have other colors too, but I didn't want to put colors combined because I felt that would be too much, and there weren't enough individual uses of the words like blue, for example, to make it onto here. But I have found 4 uses of the word gold or golden, stuff like that. Major Mark on Me, a golden tattoo, for example. And we do not have anything to really say about Reputation Taylor's version because it doesn't exist, or at least it doesn't exist now. She has stated before in this Instagram post that she has re-recorded it, or that she tried recording it and it just wasn't the same. We have heard a bit of it because Look What You Made Me Do made it onto like a soundtrack for a TV show or something, and I don't know if she's ever going to actually release the re-recordings, but what she has said is that there is a vault for Reputation that she might be ready to release at some point. I'm thinking maybe next year, 2027, on the 10-year anniversary of Reputation, she might release those. I obviously am desperate for the vault tracks because Reputation is my favorite album, or so I think. We're going to find out when I actually get to rank them in a second. Then we have the Eras Tour. So if you didn't know, the Eras Tour was this huge event that she put on where she toured all of her albums up to that point, except for Debut. Basically that was kind of abandoned, but she put on a show with each of the eras being represented by at least one song, and Reputation was no exception. So let's talk about what she did for the Eras Tour. So actually we need to mention that there were 2 versions of the Eras Tour, before and after TTPD came out, and she modified the tour a little bit, although as I have noticed, outside of the visuals, the Reputation part of the tour remained basically unchanged because it is the best part of the show, because it's Reputation and it's the best part. But really, if you watch it, it is the highlight of the show, which is already full of highlights. It in and of itself is a highlight, but then the Reputation part is the best moment. It's the one where you absolutely have to lose your mind. So it comes after Evermore, and she opens very fittingly with Ready for It, which contains the lyric, Are you ready for it? Surprisingly enough. And it also contains the lyrics, Let the games begin, so it makes sense to start there. She also has the super iconic one piece. What is even more iconic about it is that for every other era she had a ton of outfits, whereas for Reputation she basically wore this one same outfit for the majority of the shows. Only at the end she came out with a golden variation of the suit, but for most of the tour it was just this one black and red one. Also, the microphone for Reputation has a snake wrapped around it, so it's also the best microphone. I really like the Ready For It version. On the Eras Tour, it's very rock, and it has some, I don't know, fun production moments. I really would love for her to release the Eras Tour versions of every song, or the ones that she performed on the Eras Tour, on streaming. I think that'd be great, but specifically for these songs, I think these got reworked fantastically. Then she goes into Delicate, which is a bit of a slower moment, and during Delicate she is walking around the stage and she is stepping on it, and they have this effect where the stage is breaking, and only now I have just realized that this is because the stage is being delicate, just like the song. We also have the iconic 1, 2, 3, let's go bitch. And then she goes into Don't Blame Me, which you're going to find out in a second how I feel about Don't Blame Me. And the music here is amazing. She does the iconic high note, maybe the most iconic high note throughout the entire show. And then I think, in my personal opinion, from when I saw the Eras Tour and also just from rewatching it, the best moment on the entire tour happens, which is the transition from Don't Blame Me into Look What You Made Me Do. It's the most hype I felt the entire time, and I was hype to an extreme degree anyway. Also, Look What You Made Me Do is another best part of the show. It's basically the only performance ever performed by anyone in this world. She has other versions of herself locked up in cages, played by the different dancers, and she bangs on the cages, she interacts with them and turns them away. And the arrangement of this song is unbelievably good. And then at the end, they recreate the Taylor Mountain from the Look What You Made Me Do music video. And then she goes into Speak Now because she hates her. So that is it for the theory part of the video. And now let's get into the ranking of all of the individual songs and my final rating for the album, which I think you can already predict. Alright, welcome to the ranking portion of the video. So glad you're joining me here. So if you're new here, I will explain how we're going to do things. We are going to be ranking these songs out of 5, so S tier is above the ranking, it's 6 points. I was going to decide between 6 and 10 points, but I decided that 6 would not inflate the scale as much as 10 would, so we're going with 6. And we're going to put all of the songs into these categories, and then at the end I'm going to add up all the points and divide them by the amount of songs, and then I'm going to take that number divided by 5 to see the percentage that this album is going to get. So most tiers don't really need any explanation, except for maybe D, which are songs that may be really, really good, but I don't listen to them because they're too sad. But I doubt we're going to have an example like this during Reputation, and I'm going to be real honest, real tea with you and say that I basically didn't take any notes for this one, because I think this album kind of speaks for itself. Ready for it. So we're going to be starting with Ready For It, and this one's fun. This one is the opening, so it's already setting the entire tone for Reputation and how different it's going to be from every single one of the albums that came before it, and she didn't know it yet, but also from every single album that came after it. And this album is characterized by the fact that she is playing a character. She's being kind of facetious, she's being different because she's playing into the character that the media and the people who didn't like her at the time created, that they thought her to be. And she says, okay, you want me to be evil, I'm gonna be evil, and I'm going to make a great album out of that. So in Ready For It, she starts off doing something that I don't think she ever really did, outside of maybe like silly attempts, and that is she kind of raps. This is a song that is about two things. First of all, it's about prepping you for what you're going to experience next on this album. She says, are you ready for it? And you have to be ready to experience it. Like I said, she raps, the production is extremely different, she sounds different, and this entire album is going to be like that. But Ready for It is meant to prepare you for what's about to come. And the second thing is that it is a love song. Like a lot of stuff on Reputation, it presents itself as a villainous, kind of crazy villain monologue, but at the end of the day, they're mostly about her relationship and being in a happy relationship while the entire rest of her world was falling apart. So this song is also about that, about how she is in love, but also how for her being in love is difficult because Touch Me and You'll Never Be Alone, she is so overexposed to the whole world and she has everyone's eyes on her. This song hypes me up so much. You just have to hear it to believe it, and it's going straight into A. So we're going straight from Let the Games Begin into Endgame. She's funny like that. So this song is a collaboration with Future and Ed Sheeran, and she has a weird track record with collaborations where she doesn't really let her collaborators say anything or sing anything on her songs. So this one is an exception where each one of the guests gets their own verse. So first it's Future, then it's Ed Sheeran, and then Taylor does basically what is like the bridge. And I think Future's verse really ties into the theme of the song, which is about being tough and having a scary reputation, but then being soft and loving with your partner. And then Ed Sheeran's verse is there. I think it's catchy and all, but I don't think it really fits the theme. This song is like nothing else she has really in her repertoire. I don't think there's really any song of hers that I can compare it to. At first she appears mostly just on the chorus that intersperses the verses of the men, but then she gets her own verse, and I'm sorry to be such an annoying Swiftie, but I do prefer the part where she sings. It's my favorite part of the song. Also, we need to thank her for inspiring Endgame the movie. So this one is going into B tier. I am putting it in B because I just can't get into it as much as I do into a lot of the A tier songs, and I think it's really good nonetheless, so it's top of B. Then we have I Did Something Bad, which is another one of the villain songs on here. It's one of the most villainous. So in this one, she is fully playing into that role. She's talking about how she toys with narcissists and playboys, and how she does bad things, but she enjoys them. And she also harkens back to her cancellation by comparing herself to a witch being banned, but that she wants to ban, that she wants to be lit up. Throughout the song, you hear these weird noises that sound a little bit like tia-tia, or I don't know how else to describe them, but they're really only annoying if you pay attention to them, kind of like breathing. And now I made you think about how you're breathing, sorry about that. I'm also not exactly sure if I love the bridge. I think it's kind of repetitive, but I am always down for a villain song, and I'm just finding things to complain about for the sake of complaining, because this is another A tier song. I think potentially the front of the album for me is stronger than the back of the album, but we're going to see. Then we have Don't Blame Me, which no notes here, so I have to go from the heart. This is a perfect song in my opinion. I don't know how to signify to you how much I love this song. It is once again sort of a villain song, but it's also kind of a ballad, and is absolutely enormous and big and high stakes. And she sings about how she is usually a big, scary, horrible person, but now she found someone who softens her heart, and she would do anything for him. She would cross the line and she would kill for him, blah blah blah. And I think in order to tell you how much I love the song, I'm going to do it. This is the first S-tier song of the entire series. Then we have Delicate, which is a very underrated song. And when I say it's underrated, I mean by me. Yes, this is slapped between two icons. So if I listen to the album from the front to the back, it kind of gets lost in the sauce a little bit. So I have to listen to it kind of out of order to appreciate it, because I have done that now and it is an incredible song. I think the lyric, "My reputation's never been worse, so you must like me for me," encompasses what the song is about. It's about this new relationship that she's in and she thinks it's delicate. As kind of her reputation has been ruined, she gets into this new relationship and she is describing how this love has to be real because her reputation is bad. And she's super afraid that this relationship is going to fall apart if she does something because it's so delicate. And I'm going to have to be putting this into A tier. Once again, it's an A tier song. Who would have guessed? Who would have guessed that this is how it's going to look with Reputation? Look what you made me do. Then we have Look What You Made Me Do. Absolute icon. Absolute icon. This song, I can't even describe the levels of masterpiece that it is. The level of goodness, the level of slayness, the level of iconography that Look What You Made Me Do is. I remember, and to this day, people are mixed on this song. People think that this is a bad song because somehow doing a revenge comeback song to I'm So Sexy is somehow tacky to people. I don't understand. Even while researching for this video, I found an article about 2017 and about how disappointing this song was. And I have to say, I remember coming back home on my birthday to the song being out and falling in love with it first try. So I got it immediately, and ever since it has been one of my favorite songs ever, not just of Taylor Swift but of any artist. It has been up there, so I have to be putting it in S tier and also above Don't Blame Me. This is the number one song that we have had so far. I kind of got heated right there. So It Goes is a song that exists, but I also kind of love it. This song comes after Look What You Made Me Do, which immediately makes it difficult for me to care about it because I'm basically on a high listening to Look What You Made Me Do, and then we calm down a little bit with So It Goes. It's a slower song, it's a little bit less out there than a lot of the Reputation songs. It's another love song. It's about a relationship. That's basically what it is. It's another one told in a kind of slinky, foreboding way, but it is a love song between maybe like enemies to lovers kind of situation. And I really like the song. I need to be clear about this because of the way that I'm going to be ranking it, but I'm also not as impressed with it as I am with some of these other songs. But at the same time, it is an A tier song. In Reputation, the songs that are lower are still A or B tier, so you're gonna have to be prepared for that with me here. Then we have Gorgeous, which is a very cute song. She describes it as a song about the universal fact that you're going to act like an idiot in front of a person you find attractive, and that is exactly what it's about. She does not drop her villain facade here. She still has lines like, "You've ruined my life by not being mine," but then it picks up with like a cute little note. And she mentions her cats. It's cutesy, it's really fun, and I will be putting it into A tier. Is anyone watching this video anymore? Because this is boring. I'm just praising every single song. I also didn't do my usual spiel about how if you have different opinions than me, then that's fine. We can all get along and eat rainbows and whatever. Because if you have different opinions than me, that's fine, but also you're wrong. Then we have the myth, the legend, which is Getaway Car. This song is a movie to me. This song is like a whole cinematic experience. It's about the main character running away from a relationship into a getaway car with another dude and then betraying that dude too. And it's so good. Every moment's good, every line is good, and it just goes places where no other song has. Also, it's about Loki from Marvel, so that's a plus. And I absolutely love it. I honestly think I put it too low on my actual ranking here. I think this is going maybe around here. It's definitely A tier, but is it above? I think it has to be. I think it's one of the best songs ever made. So I almost put it in S tier, by the way. And now I'm like, should it be top of A? I'm really thinking, what's better, Getaway Car or Ready for It? Getaway Car, Ready for It. Getaway Car, Ready for It. Or Getaway Car, Ready for It. I think I'm gonna have to put it after it. Let's say it's a draw, okay? For the first time, let's say it's a draw. I can't decide which is better. Then we have a bit of a disappointing moment for me as a number one Reputation girly, because I think I don't like this song as much as everyone else does, and that's Dancing with Our Hands Tied.
Actually, no, that's not the truth, Ellie.
This song is kind of like an I Know Places part 2 to me, Hear Me Out, because this one is about a relationship that's maybe doomed to fail, but they're still going to persevere no matter what breaks down around them. And I think it's good. I think the lyrics are good. I think the concept is good, but I don't like the chorus. I think it's too repetitive. And I'm also not the biggest fan of the imagery of dancing with her hands tied. I still don't know if they have their hands tied individually or to one another, which shouldn't be a problem, but to me it is.
Let me know in the comments what you think.
So I still really like this song, by the way. It's a B tier, but it's just not an A tier like maybe it should have been. Guys, I skipped King of My Heart. Okay, let's go back to King of My Heart, because I skipped it. Sorry about that. It's my favorite album and I'm being stupid, okay? It's going to my head. But to my defense, I think that's how it was in this ranking over here. So that's why I did it. And if it wasn't, don't roll the tapes. Don't rewind the video to check. So King of My Heart, because this is a very fun song. This is once again, she's like, okay, I'm moving on, I'm on my own, but then she meets a guy and they start going out. That's the song. I don't know how to describe these. They're just really, really good songs, okay? King of My Heart, how do I explain you? Okay, there's metaphors of royalty, there's metaphors of Motown beat, there's a very cool bridge that I really like, there's stuff about bones, and I'm sorry I forgot about you, because I really like you as a song and you're actually also A tier. Then we have Dress, which I'm obsessed with Dress. Dress is about friends to lovers, basically secret lovers, friends to lovers, which is one of my favorite tropes ever. I need to calm down. This song is a friends to lovers, and I really, really like this. It's about her not being able to keep her hands off of this other person, but they're hiding that they're together, and she bought this dress only so that he could take it off, and it's so good. And I don't know why I put it after Delicate. Maybe it is after Delicate. These are all songs I'm obsessed with, so it's kind of just tomato over here, but I might be putting it over here. There's this great moment in Dress where she goes, say my name, and everything just stops and the song stops. It's so good. It's so good. This is why we can't have night. Then we have another moment on the album, which is This Is Why We Can't Have Nice Things, which is a song, basically it's like a humorous song. It's not to be taken that seriously. It's basically what it says on the tin, and it's just describing a friendship that has gone awry, a situation where she trusted somebody but they didn't keep their promises, and she is now upset with them and she is locking them out of her life, and she's talking about how her life is still great without them. And I have always liked this song, but I can't say it really compares to anything in the A tier. I will not put it in C tier because I think it's better than C tier, so it's going into B. This video is going so quick. There's not that many songs here, are there? But even comparing to something like Debut, it's going quick. Call It What You Want is a very cute song. It's about being cancelled. Once again, she is been a recluse, but she found love throughout it. So she's happy, and she is describing the ideal man that has made his way into her life. And there are some awkward moments here, like when she says that he's like a brother to her. That's a bit weird, kind of an X-Men First Class moment. Also, she compares him to a jet stream, which I think is intriguing. But overall, I think it's a very good song, and I'm going to be putting it also in A tier. Sorry, it's just how it goes. And then finally we have New Year's Day, which I have always felt is kind of tacked on at the end. It's kind of strange. It's basically a piano ballad, and it does not fit with the rest of the album. I used to hate this song. I used to be like, why did she put one bad song on Reputation? Why did she have to do it? Did she feel like she didn't have a slow enough song? Did she want to put one for the fans of the previous records? Because I didn't even know what those were. And I used to be kind of upset with the song, because I was like, we could have had this, or we could have had a song like Don't Blame Me in its place, and who knows, maybe we will in the vaults. But now I actually really like New Year's Day. I think it's a sweet song. It's not as good as all the rest, and I still really, really like it, and I do listen to it, even though I don't think it really fits this album. I think it's tonally and just sonically quite different, but I still like it. I like it now more than some of the other songs from this album, and it's going into B tier, and it's going behind Endgame. So, as you can probably tell, it's a very top heavy ranking right now. No C's, right? No F's, no D's, that's fine, but not even a single C. We have B's, A's, and S's galore. I love this album, and I don't care what the final rating is. This is my favorite Taylor Swift album. I knew it going into this ranking series. I knew that, but I still went ahead and did it because I really want to find out what number 2 is going to be after all this, even though I know for a fact that Reputation is and always was going to be number 1. But let's see if the maths agrees with me. So we have 2 S tiers, 9 A tiers, and 4 B tiers. And that amounts to 73 points, which might not look like that many, but this is a shorter album, so we only have to divide it by 15, and that gives us a 4.87-ish. And if we divide that by 5, which is our top ranking, we get 97%, which is crazy. This officially dethrones the last album as the number 1 position on our ranking. This is number 1. I am so happy about that. Reputation number 1, always and forever in my heart and in my videos. I am the number 1 Reputation fan. Another fun thing about Reputation is that there are no other versions. That's all we have. That's all we have, for now at least. So I don't even have to compare it to like vault tracks or bonus tracks. This is it. This is the ranking. I was hoping for 100, but it didn't quite work out. But I am still extremely satisfied with this ranking and with this video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Let me know what you think about Reputation. And I hope you have a great day and see a cat. And the cat is black for Reputation. And I hope you like cats and that you can pet it. And goodbye.